Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports, the NBA Championship Finals await. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host. Ordinarily, we have the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith. But today we have New York Knicks fan, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah.
We have a happy New York Knicks fan, Cheryl Smith.
Yes,
Good
orange
morning,
and blue skies forever. Orange and blue skies. Yes, yes, yes. We going to game 6. Definitely going to game 6. And when Michael Jackson says, Indiana, here I come. Going back to Indiana.
Ooh. You know, it's good. Hey, you know, the Nicky Knicks. All right, this week go shout out. We have performances from Jay and the Groove. Will he find his shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Spirit, carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the New York Knicks are flying high as they staved off elimination and keep hope alive for their fans. Can the Knicks join an elite club of teams that turn a series around and went on to play in the championship finals? At this point, regardless of what happens next, has Coach Tiz bought himself at least one more season as the head coach? Have the Knicks figured out the Pacers? Are the Pacers about to be the team that choked? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, I mean, the Knicks did what they needed to do. They finally won a game at Madison Square Garden. You remember, prior to Game 5, this team was 3-5 in the playoffs this year at Madison Square Garden. That's your home court, and you can't win on your home court. Matter of fact, in this particular series, they had lost, 2 games, right? Yeah, they lost 2 games at Madison Square Garden. So they had to do what they needed to do. I'm just going to say this. If the Knicks did not win Game 5 at home, to me, they did not deserve to go to the finals. They needed to win that game, and they did it. And the Knicks finally played some defense. They finally did that. You know, they had sporadic spots where they would play defense, but they played defense during the entire game. They actually had a 48-minute game where they played defense in every quarter. They finally closed the airspace on Halliburton. I mean, he was just running up the floor, getting to the free throw line and doing what he needed to do. So this time, I don't know what took him so long to come up with this thought process, but they finally picked him up at the backcourt and made it very difficult for him to maneuver and jumpstart their offense. Halliburton likes to go downhill. He likes to go north to south. The Knicks made him go east to west, and he's not effective going east to west. So they need to continue with that same game plan. And the other major thing I thought the Knicks did, too, they controlled the pace of the game. Because Game 4, I felt the Knicks tried to beat the Pacers at their own style. You know, the Pacers love to run and gun. They're a running and gunning team. And the Knicks cannot do that. They cannot run and gun with the Pacers. They need to play a slower pace. You need to put the Pacers in a half-court offense And that's what the Knicks did in Game 6. The Pacers were playing in a half-court offense, and they are not good at that. They are a good running gun team. So when you keep them in a half-court offense, you can win the game. So if the Knicks continue to do that, I can see them coming back from a 3-1 deficit. Because if they can play like that, then yes, they can beat the Pacers in Indiana. Yeah, they play well on the road. They play better on the road than they do MSG. So they just need to continue to pick Halliburton up in the backcourt and to keep the game at their pace, not at Indy's pace. And when you come to Game 6, it totally switches. Because as far as I'm concerned, the Knicks are playing with house money in Game 6 because the pressure is going to be all on the Pacers, just like what the Knicks did to the Celtics. You remember in the Celtics series, the Knicks had a 3-1 lead, and they had a 2-1 lead, and then it went to 3-1, and the Celtics had to win Game 6 to close out the Celtics, because if the Celtics had won Game 6 at MSG, they were going back to Game 7 in Boston, and that was going to be a lot of pressure. So the pressure was on the Knicks in that series to close out Game 6. So it's the same thing for the Pacers. The pressure is on the Pacers. Now, it can go either way. It could be a blowout, which the Knicks did to the Celtics, or it can be a tight game. So I'm really thinking it's going to be a tight game because, as I always say, the Knicks play better when their backs are to the wall. So their backs are still to the wall. So I think Game 6 is going to be a lot more pressure on the Pacers because the Pacers know they have to win that game. Have to win that game. So like I said, the Knicks are going to have a comeback from 3-1. And, yeah, if they do come back, the Pacers definitely have choked. Now let's get on to Tibbs. I don't care what happens. If the Knicks do, the only way to me, Tibbs can keep his job, the Knicks have to go to the finals. Now, in the beginning of they have to go to the finals because let me explain something to you. Yes, the thing was the Knicks needed to look respectable against the Celtics in order for Tibbs to keep his job. That's what was said. Because many people didn't pick the Knicks to beat the Celtics. But guess what? Goalposts changed because once the Knicks beat the Celtics and they had the Pacers, I mean, everybody thought the Knicks were going to be better than the Pacers. It hasn't turned out that way. So that's why I think, Tibbs definitely has to win against the Pacers because, again, his M.O. is the fact that he runs his players in the ground. It wasn't because Tibbs wanted to play his bench. He had no choice to play his bench when that happened, when Brunson and Cat got in foul trouble. So he realized that, hey, those two players, Shamet and DeLon Wright, Shamet and DeLon Wright, were great defensive players. So once he played them, that's when this series changed. So Tibbs, to me, every Knicks fan wants Tibbs out as the coach. There's that many Knicks fans that want Tibbs to be the coach. So as I said, he definitely needs to go to the finals. All right, Spitface. What do you think about how the Knicks prevailed?
First Lady, there is danger when you put up the choke and you didn't win the series yet. There is danger in doing that. Now, if the Pacers had won the series and were on their way to the finals, and in that game, they put up the choke sign. Okay? Hey, they done. Stick a fork in them. It is gone. But all you did was set it up so that, because, that old saying, revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, the nasty Knicks looks like they're getting ready to serve a cold dish on the Pacers, and do it in MSG. And you and those crazy Knicks fans, y'all gonna have y'all choke signs ready. Y'all gonna have y'all choke signs ready for the Pacers. So, Coach Tibbs, for whatever the reason, whatever, something that, given that he's Coach Tibbs, defense was never an issue on a team he coached. But I do say that it's a 7-game series, not a 1. Now you got to make it a 7-game, but it's not a 1-game series. So there are a lot of adjustments that both sides make. But as sooner or later, unless the talent is just so overwhelmingly dominant, and the Pacers don't have an overwhelmingly dominant team at all, as we can see. So I'm like, firstly, when you say moving the goalposts, I'm like, man, Coach Tibbs, what you got to do to get some love? I mean, I advocate, Knicks fans got spoiled. Y'all done just got spoiled. And because, I can understand you go so long, in the sea of mediocrity. No, that was an improvement. Y'all was just a bad team for a long time. And then the sea of and finally momentum happens, teams that mean something, making the playoffs and, and now you ready to kick the man to he can't buy a break. And because the Knicks go to the finals, then it'll be he can't keep his job if he wins. It's just like that. The only hope for Tibbs amongst that to get some love from the Knicks fans is to win a championship. That is it. That's the deal. If he don't win a championship, y'all want his butt out. And I'm like, be careful with that. Be careful with that. And it can be a matter of they're all growing together, including Coach Tibbs, what he really has to work with. And they are at a win, lose, or draw come next season. They are going to be one of the teams you got to beat. Truly competitive beat and an experienced squad. And a lot of that is Coach Tibbs. And they are a tough team. The Knicks ain't no glamour boys. They are a tough team. And Jalen, I wouldn't get in the ring with the brother. He might be he one of the guys, he'd take your ass out. I go, man, that's a bad boy. So I'm going, the Tibbs hating gotta stop. Y'all got, embrace the Tibbs. Embrace the Tibbs. And First Lady, they have figured out the Pacers. They have figured them out. So the Knicks are about to join Golden State in coming back from a 3-1. And that was back in 2016. And Brunson and Big Cat getting ready to, show y'all the way. That's all I'm saying, First Lady.
Well, yeah, we got to move the goalposts for Tibbs because I'll tell you, everybody wants him out. And the thing is, the Knicks team this year, I disagree with you a little bit. They're not tough. They haven't been tough until probably this last game they became tough. But they've been soft a little bit, and that's what people are saying. And compared to last year's team, the last year's team had grit. This team is more talented than last year's team, but we got to get the grit now. So, but we're trying to do it. So anyway, we're trying to do it. All right, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my tears and putting suckers in tears, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering. Reconcile when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare. You better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest of the August sliced and diced competition, paying the price. I'm going to knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch to the Timberwolves by the OKC Thunder. The Wolves were able to claw their way to a single win and avoid being swept. It's the fact they couldn't sweep the Wolves. Hope for their Eastern Conference foes. So, the fact that OKC couldn't sweep the Wolves, does that provide some hope? Is the GA man about the end of the rare air of Michael Jordan? Are the Thunder the team of destiny, or perhaps dynasty? Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking, what you saying? First Lady, the Thunder pretty much manhandled, I'll just say a feisty Timberwolves team. But OKC, hey, they've been the best team in the league all year long. And I think the one game that they lost was just a matter of the Timberwolves being a feisty team, and that was their day. Not that there are any real kinks in OKC Thunder's armor. And that the fact that they didn't sweep the Wolves gives no hope for the Eastern Conference, but none, nada at all. It might, but they lost the game. How did they? But no. That is not. Whoever comes out the East, if they're facing, they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to bring the A plus game, and because the GA man is for real. Now, about the only thing I really see with the G man and Michael Jordan is they both tall. That's about as close as it comes. They both tall. No. He's not getting ready to enter the rare air. No. But they both tall. So, if you put them together and go sideways, you might not be able to tell the difference because they're both tall. Now, First Lady touched on this in our last show, teams of destiny or perhaps dynasty. And the Thunder I'll say you make your destiny. So if the Thunder ends up winning everything out, they had the best record all year. They made their destiny. They created that win. Now, dynasty, First Lady pointed out, today's NBA is not designed, and the players don't want to do it to build dynasty teams. You don't have the big threes and people come together like that. No. And, what the Thunder has me think about is the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis. And it looked like they could have had at least a back-to-back, and it just did not happen. So the Thunder may be this year's team of destiny, but the chances of them being a dynasty, are, we got to go back to the Warriors. They were the last one. So I don't see it. First Lady, what you saying about OKC?
Well, the Thunder basically had a gentleman's sweep of the Timberwolves. I mean, they completely outclassed the Timberwolves, and with the exception, I think, it was Game 3. I mean, the Timberwolves were not in any of these games, especially in the second half, because once the OKC went on their blitz, it was over. And they could have easily have swept the Timberwolves, but, you know, they, for some reason, came out really not that great in that particular game. But I think the Timberwolves, you know, they had to prove that their first game at home, they had to win that game. So, they had to win. I think, well, actually, no, it was their second game, not their first, because they had lost the first game at home. It was they're right. The OKC went up 3-0 on them. So anyway, I think the Knicks, to be honest with you, if the East played the OKC, I really think the Knicks would have a better shot of playing them, because the Pacers, believe it or not, to me, they play the same way the OKC does. They play a fast-paced game. And OKC plays it well, but the thing with OKC, they can defend better, and OKC can defend the perimeter line. That's where the Pacers thrive, is shooting the outside three-point shot. But OKC is one of the better perimeter teams. And the reason why I'm saying that the Knicks can fare a little bit better against against the Thunder is because they have Karl Anthony Towns. If the Knicks would play him correctly against the Thunders, their centers, they have Hartenstein and Holmgren, but the one thing about those two centers, they're not strong. Hartenstein, he can block a lot of shots, but knowing the fact when he played with the Knicks, he gets easily pushed off of his, get pushed out of the center spot. So Karl Anthony Towns could definitely have big games against them. I really think Brunson would have difficulties against OKC because of the fact that they have great perimeter players. Their guards, I mean, they could bring anybody in. I mean, between Lou Dort, Carson, what's his name, Kaysen Carson. They just got a lot of great defender. Oh, how can I forget about what's his name? Lord, I forgot his name. But anyway, Caruso. Yeah, Caruso is a great. I mean, Caruso single-handedly took Julius Randle out for 2 games, and he took the Joker out for a game or so. So they can defend. To be honest with you, I think it would be very difficult for both teams, to be honest with you. Now, it's interesting. Can they become a dynasty? Can they become a dynasty? I think they can become a dynasty, and let me explain why. Because I think when I did touch about dynasty, I did mention OKC, because OKC have a lot of their players on still rookie contracts. OKC has drafted really well. Now, SGA is signed through for 3 years. Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, they're eligible for their first extension at the end of the season. I mean, they don't have to extend them. They could wait until the end of next season. So if OKC wins the championship this year, I still think that they could win it again next year. So that's not a dynasty, though. I know, but it's been a while since we had a champion to win back-to-back. So that's a great thing if they can go back-to-back. And I think they can go back-to-back. If they win this year, they can go back-to-back. And the reason why, because they can bring their current team back, the entire team back. So that's saying something, that they can bring that same team back. But they'll have to make a lot of decisions. They'll have to make a decision, like I said, at the end of this season, with Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. They're eligible for their first extension. And Jalen Williams, he was all NBA, all NBA, so he could get the highest amount. He could get a super max. So, the Thunder, after the end of next season, then they'll have to make some decision with some of their players. I mean, they have SGA to 3 years, and the SGA is eligible for an extension at the end of next year. So in general, though, the Thunder, they have done a great job with drafting players, developing their players, They have done a great job with keeping their draft picks. They have a boatload of draft picks. So if they keep their core team together, even if they got to pay them, they can still, with those draft picks, get players and put them in and out if they lose some players eventually after 2 years. Because I'm still saying, like, they can win back-to-back championships. A dynasty is when you win 3 or more. So the question is, after that next year, can they continue to win? I still think they can continue to win because I think they've been smart. They've made some great trades with Caruso. They also had a great free agent signing with Hartenstein. I mean, we missed Hartenstein in New York. So I really think they can come close. I think they're the only team that can really come close to a dynasty. I think they're the only team, to be honest with you, because I don't think the Celtics can, because the Celtics are going to lose players. The Celtics are going to lose their guard. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now, but they're going to lose several other players because they just can't afford. They're at a possible $500,000 second aid from the OKC. They're currently listed as 25th in the league when it comes to payroll. So that just tells you where OKC is. Of course, it'll go up next year, but they can do it. Now, as far as SGA and comparing him to Michael Jordan, I would say he is more similar to Michael Jordan than Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. Everybody wants to crown Ant-Man as the next MJ, I guess because of his swag. But I really think SGA is more similar because he has a deadly mid-range. Michael Jordan was great from the mid-range, and he's just that calm and consistent. He's very consistent with his play. Ant-Man's been up and down, especially in the playoffs. You have to look at what SGA has done in the playoffs, and that's why I consider him to be closer to MJ than Ant-Man. And he's also, SGA can play defense, and he's just smooth. Now, yeah, Ant-Man has more charisma. He's more, he has more charisma to me than SGA. You know, SGA is very stylish in the way he's dressed. I'm just saying his persona on the court. It's just the Ant-Man is always, he just has a lot of charisma. To me, SGA is definitely closer to MJ. So, but anyway, yeah, I really think they have a shot to be a dynasty, the OKC, depending on how they play things.
All right, First Lady. Is it the swag? First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Jay and the Groove on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Jay and the Groove.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of the shout out, we are featuring music from Jay and the Groove out of Peoria, Illinois, from his hit album, Time to Dance. They say, quote, Jay and the Groove is a Christian worship group from Central Illinois. Their music is inspired by old school R&B funk as well as modern EDM. That's electronic dance music for those who do not know. Their goal is to bring joy and freedom to God's people. Well, goodness, I have to see how you're going to put EDM with God's purpose. Let's see. Let's hear. I will. Okay. All right. So that's the Christian songs of Jay and the Groove. All right. So, Spitface, are you rejoicing or are you hitting the mute button?
You can't help but rejoice. I thought it was a fun track, and I had to remember this is supposed to be like dance music, but really it kind of made me, want to get my workout schedule going. I can see you working out to it. I don't know how much, but the song is not geared toward my age group. It's geared to the group. Going to the club, I guess, whatever they be doing these days. But I'm giving this shout out. I kind of liked the track. It was fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to shout it out too. I'm not into the dance music that is the EDM. I'm not really into that, but they made it work with their song. And anytime you're going to praise God and anything, you got to give them a shout out. So it's working for them. It worked for them.
We have hit the mute, First Lady.
It definitely worked for them. They were definitely rejoicing. And look, you can get your praise dance on. You may not can get your fast dance on, but you can get a praise dance on to that song. So I'm definitely going to shout them out. On part 2 of Shout, we'll be featuring another performance by Jay and the Groove. Now, he's always grooving. Is it the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
What you see is smarter than me, and we are missing a world of wonder, lying there under the sea.
All right, you know what time it is. It is time for Flip It. That's right, where our hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. The Steelers are in a predicament. The top quarterback on their roster is Mason Rudolph. And Aaron Rodgers is playing peekaboo. Did the Steelers fumble the ball, not drafting Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur Sanders was not the savior the Steelers needed. Next year's draft has a better group of candidates. Will a Manning be available? First Lady, I'm looking at the current situation with the Steelers, a team that I've kind of traditionally, kind of went for as one of my NFL favorite teams, and not just because of the coach, but they growing up in Chicago, we like those northern teams, tough and can deal with the elements. We kind of roll like that. But the Steelers and I think with Shedeur Sanders could have came into that team. That team there's some changes that need to happen. And he was not going to walk in there and all of a sudden be the savior of the team. And, it's one of those double-edged swords. The team keeps having a winning record, so they can't get a high enough draft, pick in the draft to really get that top quarterback. But that's what they need. They need that top quarterback that's I'm not going to say a shoe-in because nobody's a shoe-in coming out of college and jumping to the NFL. But everyone has said this year's draft was, as far as the quarterback class, was not like not one of the top-rated classes. Now, who knows how the players will actually work out in the NFL? So this isn't a slight on them. It's just that what they saw coming out of the college class. Next year's class actually looks a lot brighter and have more opportunity. But right now, the Steelers need for Aaron Rodgers to stop playing peekaboo. To stop playing peekaboo and go ahead and work with this team in his final year. Because the Steelers are going to have a winning record. Right now, they just constructed to where they're going to win enough games to have a winning record. That, which is a good thing. Aaron Rodgers, a mediocre Aaron Rodgers, is probably still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. A mediocre. So if he's looking at, this is the last gas in my tank. I want to go out. You got somebody who, once he makes that call, he's going to be there. And he got skills still. And if some kind of way they can protect him, again, the Steelers going to have a winning season. Even with Mason Rudolph, they would, some kind of way, they stumble, bumble, and have a winning season. And that might be a stretch, but First Lady, please defend. Shedeur Sanders was not the answer.
Well, I just think it was quite clear that the Steelers didn't think Sanders was the top pick in the draft. They passed on him in the first round, the third round, and the fourth round. So, if they really thought he was a top pick, they wouldn't have passed on him. So they felt they had a better chance winning with Rudolph and waiting for Aaron Rodgers. This season could be the Steelers' worst season under Tomlin. There is a possibility. It definitely is a possibility. Depends on if they actually sign Aaron Rodgers. If they go with Rudolph, then, he is who he is. Mike Tomlin has always had 500 or more when it comes to his rec, but the pundits, they don't think this is going to be a good year for the Steelers. Really don't think so. So the question is the draft. And like you said, Spitface, everybody is talking about next year's draft. Next year's draft, you got Arch Manning coming out. You got Carson Beck, who's with the Miami Hurricane. You got so many top players. There was 14 quarterbacks, I believe, drafted in this year's draft, but there weren't that many really top-notch franchise quarterbacks. But in next year's draft, they said there's about 10 to 15 quarterbacks that can go at least in the first and second round. So that tells you how highly talented these quarterbacks are. People are talking about them. They're franchise quarterbacks. Now, if the Steelers do not have a bad season, as many have proclaimed they will, they can always trade up. So the question is, you got to believe that Sanders, in their eyes, was not a top quarterback. So if he's not a top quarterback, don't waste money on that if he was not a top quarterback. They did that with Pickett. What happened with him? They didn't think, they thought he was a top quarterback because, he was in the University of Pittsburgh. And they saw him a lot of times. He used to come over to the Steelers, training camp and things. And the Steelers were very familiar with Kenny Pickett. That's why they chose him. But he was a complete failure. Now, other people are saying that, and especially Terry Bradshaw recently commented that he thought the Steelers didn't handle Kenny Pickett the right way. But once you pick somebody high like that, you don't want to make a mistake again. You do not want to make a mistake. And this is the reason why Shedeur Sanders was not taken, because they felt he was not a franchise quarterback. And so guess what? You wait. You wait until you get a real franchise quarterback. And I'm sorry, Sanders, according to the Steelers, wasn't that man.
All right, First Lady. Okay, he was not the savior, but this is splendid. And we got to flip the script. Taking a chance on an aging quarterback never seems like a good thing in the end. They should have taken Shedeur. And First Lady, I think Aaron Rodgers has, still has something in the tank. He has skills. He even with the Jets, you can see that he could still play. The problem is that, it's just like that old car that you love. And even though this is going wrong, the water pump, and you don't replace that, and then the brakes, that's it, you don't replace this, you don't replace that. And there's just a point where you driving down the road and it's going, and it just boom, and it just falls. And Aaron Rodgers is on that edge where, as great as he is, with the talent he has, the body and the game changes on him. And it's just like overnight. And while it can, on the surface, it can look okay, it ain't. You've been playing as many years as Aaron, all the hits, all adds up. And you just don't know. The Steelers virtually had nothing to lose in taking Shedeur, and a lot to gain. A lot to gain. Even if they had to start the season with Mason Rudolph and Shedeur come in later in the season, or see how the training camp goes, they had nothing to lose. They still are, like I said, they're a team that can stumble their way to a winning season. That's just how good Tomlin got that team. They will stumble their way to have a winning season. They can trade up. They can make the next class. If Shedeur didn't work out after getting him on the cheap, then they can take a shot in the next draft where there's a plethora of top-notch quarterbacks coming out of top. So why not? Still, there's still a mystery. I say there's still a mystery wrapped in an enigma that's heading down the street. What is this that all these NFL teams saw that nobody outside of these NFL teams saw, that Shedeur Sanders, dropped so like a hot rock? It's still out there. I don't know. But they could have got him on the cheap and found out. So I'm like, hey, that Asian quarterback, let me tell you, they just fall apart. First Lady, defend. They should have taken Shedeur.
Well, I agree with you. I'm not sure what the Steelers were thinking. You could have gotten Sanders in the 4th round at a very low rookie scale. I mean, you could have had groomed him to be your franchise quarterback. Even if he wasn't going to be your savior, you had a chance to pick him and try and work him out to see what type of quarterback he could be for you. That's what you could have done. But no, you didn't pick him in the 4th round. I think that's the reason why the Browns chose him. They said, oh, well, he had slipped to the 5th round. I mean, can we let him go by? And they had, what? They had 3 quarterbacks already when they made that choice. Actually, technically 4, because Deshaun Watson was on the team, but we all know he's not going to play probably next year. So, I mean, the Browns decided to do that. They said they couldn't let him go. So that's why I was stunned that the Steelers did not pick Shedeur Sanders up in the 4th round. I mean, you're getting a quarterback who potentially everybody thought was a franchise quarterback. Everybody thought he was. He was obviously, supposedly number 2 after Cam Ward. So we can get into what happened with Sanders, but the Steelers really messed up because they really missed their boat. I mean, to land a potential franchise quarterback, like you said, Spitface, cheaply, that's what they should have done. They should have done that because you already know what you have in Mason Rudolph. You already know what you have in Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't going to last long. And who was the other quarterback they have? It was another quarterback. I can't remember who was the 3rd quarterback they have. But actually, no, they didn't have a 3rd quarterback. Is Mason Rudolph? Who was their backup quarterback? It was Mason Rudolph. I can't remember who the other quarterback was, but anyway, it just really didn't make sense. They had Russ, who? And they had Russell Wilson. Okay, so no, I'm talking about this year. Oh. Their quarterback for this year. I can't remember who their 2nd quarterback was because that just shows that he wasn't a nobody, but they could have.
The team can't remember who the quarterback they got.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they should have taken Shedeur Sanders, because they could have made him the 3rd string quarterback and just see what, to bring him in camp, to see how he is, and to see, I mean, you know what? You can learn a lot during practices and OTAs and different things like that, how this quarterback is going to be. And that's what, to me, the Steelers missed their boat because, like you said, they could have landed a quarterback on the cheap. So, hey, they missed it. They missed their boat. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, First Lady, over to you for more flipping.
Flag football will be part of the next Olympics, and the NFL is allowing their stars to play. The NFL, of course, touts this is a good thing and an opportunity for their players to be on an Olympic stage representing the USA. We wonder, is having NFL players on the team of flag football a good thing? Spitface, defend. This is not basketball where you have international stars. NFL pros playing flag football isn't even the all-star game. Defend.
First Lady, that there's the expression like men playing with boys, and it's like, wait just a minute. The world does not have pro NFL football across the globe. That ain't there. So it's like we're going to have the best of the best playing a game that, we kind of play in the all-star game because we know it ain't a real football game against players from other countries who are just nowhere near their level. So I don't even get that. That would have to be a fun, interesting game. It's like, how can they not dominate? And when the dream team, went out there the first time, that was something to be seen. That was something because the world had caught up. There were basketball players around the globe who could compete with NBA players and with some of the top NBA players, and a whole bunch of them had become, and the reason why is because they had joined the NBA. They had been recruited to play in the NBA. So the talent was there. Now, flag football is not the same as pro football, and we know that. And flag football, I can get out there and play some flag football and have some fun. But I get out there and try to play against some young NFL player. Oh, no, and it's not a matter of, because it's not tackle football, anything like that. But look, you run faster. You're skilled at catching the ball. Still running a run. I'm not sure that this would be a good thing for the NFL simply because, the skills and physical talents of these guys is just above. You don't have it. It just doesn't seem like it'd be equal, First Lady. So I don't know if this would be a good thing for them.
All right. You don't feel it's a good thing. I don't feel it's a good thing either. Because, we're talking about in the Olympics. They're not used to playing flag football, and they can get injured. That's the whole thing. Why would you want your players to go play in the Olympics flag football? I understand that it's not like regular football, but there's a possibility of getting injured. And remember, the Olympics is in August. That's usually when the Olympics are held, in August, which is going to be before the start of the season. So that, even to me, makes it a worse situation to have players play in the Olympics for flag football. What is you want to give your players the opportunity to win gold medals, but, really, flag football is not regular football. It really isn't. Yeah, they played in the All-Star game, and it's boring in the All-Star game. So, these teams in the Olympics, they play flag football. They come together. They got women's flag football during the regular season. That's a professional league in the USA. So I can maybe see some of the women's professional players going to play in the Olympics, but I just don't see pro NFL players playing in the Olympics because it's too risky. That's why they're only allowing one player per team, which is crazy. So I guess you're going to have to figure out, well, who's going to play for that team if they want to play in it. I just don't think the NFL is putting themselves at risk because I think they can acquire players. That's what I'm thinking because it's not going to be 100% sure that having NFL players play flag football that they're going to win a gold medal. It's a difference when you have NBA players playing Olympic basketball. That's a different, and as a matter of fact, that's even getting tighter now because a lot of the international teams are catching up to the NBA American teams because if you realize that in the NBA, most of the great players are international players. So I don't think in flag football that might be the case, to be honest with you. It shouldn't be, and I just think it's a bad idea. Really, I just think it's a bad idea. All right, Spitface, let's flip it. NFL pros playing flag football in the Olympics may not be the dream team, but it will be fun to watch. Spitface defend. The NFL pros playing flag football for a gold medal will be fun.
First Lady, first off, I think it's going to be kind of interesting because tackle football is not flag football. It's not. And we haven't really seen the rules that they're going to put in place to, as they say, to level the playing field. And while these players have, have physical talents that probably, exceed most normal folks, given their professional athletes. They are competing against other professional athletes. And and why I say that is that the world doesn't play tackle football, but a lot of the world plays flag football. And the teams representing those countries are physically and have the physical talent to play, I'll say, an international version of flag football that may offset what the NFL pros. I don't get that it'll be, given that it's not tackle football. Hey, players could, there are NFL players who are fast, but there are some other folks who they don't have the talents to be a NFL player, but they're fast and they can catch, and they might catch better than an NFL player can catch. It's just that they don't have overall, they ain't catching the ball, somebody tackling them. They can do, hey, look, I can spread on past you. So I think it might actually be a lot of fun to watch. And, I'm hoping that there's some adversity, where they look up and go, oh, man, wait just a minute, Team Canada came to play. Hey, they got the Canadian Football League. They got some folks. So, and some of them rough old Germans and stuff. I haven't seen the movies, First Lady. It could be some, interesting folks out there.
All right.
But yeah, I think it'd be more fun than the Pro Bowl.
All right. Well, I think, to be honest with you, Spitface, it's going to be fun. I'm not going to knock it, but to me, I think it's more of the NFL trying to expand their game international. That's why they're allowing their players to play in the Olympics. I think it's a marketing tool. That's all. Nothing less, nothing more. And I think they're smart. I would say so, because the NFL is king in the U.S. Can they take over the international scene by introducing many countries to this flag football, and basically their professional football players? If you're playing in the flag football, will international countries start watching American football? I think that's what they're banking on. I truly believe that's what Roger Goodell wanted. I mean, and remember, flag football, it begins next Olympics, and the next Olympics is in the United States. So why not? Why not? Don't you think when they're going to be doing this flag football, don't you think the NFL is going to be marketing their football? So I really believe that's all it is. It's a marketing tool. The NFL loves making cash money. They love doing things to boost their presence in the world. And this is going to do that. It's definitely going to boost their presence because of the fact they got their professionals playing flag football. If it was just normal, regular, everyday people who play flag football, do you think the international world would care? No, but oh my gosh, you can have Tyreek Hill, because I think for Miami, Tyreek Hill definitely wants to do it. He's been actually positioning to be that person from the Dolphins. So if you think about that, oh, look at Tyreek Hill. There's going to be a lot of great players that's going to want to do this, because to have an Olympic medal is one thing, even though I still don't think it was going to translate for Americans to get an Olympic medal. But anyway, I think it's a marketing tool. NFL, they're always king when it comes to cash. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
Show me the money. All right. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Jay and the Groove on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those Because.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right, First Lady. We got some mean thunder boomers here in Houston that done rolled in. So I just want to give a little warning in case things go dark. That I just want y'all to know Doge did not get us, but the weather might. Now, on the second part of shout out, we are featuring more music from Jay and the Groove. Oh no, we got to keep everything running because he got this track called Party. Yeah, let's get on with the party. All right, First Lady. What's the verdict? Is Party getting a shout out or the mute button?
Oh, I'm definitely shouting. I'm going to get my praise dance on this morning. Definitely going to shout that out, Spitface. I actually like this one better than the first song. So I really just like the music beat. The young lady was singing great, and I like that. That would get you up in the morning. Get your praise dance on, and yes, hallelujah.
I'm after listening to both tracks in one way, and this is going back. This is going way back, really. It reminded me of the music from the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. Now, right. Some of y'all going, what?
we kind of aging ourselves on that one.
oh yeah. Well, you didn't have to admit to it. But yeah, if you Google Jesus Christ Superstar, and it was really great musical back in the day, and that alone was gospel. So, check it on out. Check it on out. Well, I'm giving it a shout out and this is the end of shout out. You can check out Jay and the Groove on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
Well, actually, I just want to caveat that what you said. That Jesus Christ Supers, I think John Legend and them on NBC did a live version, an updated version of it. I for some reason, I remember them doing that. But I got to go, I'll check that out. But anyway, yes, we do have the NBA championship picks and props. We're still waiting, it's still to be determined how these series are going to come out. We already know OKC won, and OKC won in 5. So we'll see how we're going to do with our picks definitely by next week. Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
Actually, I'm on the edge of my seat, wondering who gonna win the East. So that's my top story. Just the winner of the East.
Well, yeah, that would have been my top story too. But okay, well I'm gonna go with. Aaron Rodgers still not signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Could it happen this week? Really? Aaron, you haven't made your mind up? You have not made your mind up if you're going to play this season? How do you allow this team? A lot of people are calling for Mike Tomlin's head about this one, waiting for Aaron Rodgers. They think this is ridiculous because they think of the Steelers' culture that he's really not doing great with their culture. But anyway, that's my top story, to see if Aaron Rodgers is going to finally sign this week or definitely by next week. All right. Check out our current and previous episodes at Bras, Panties and Sports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. See you next week.